You are now live streaming to Twitch dash darn think tank.
Reese is now streaming.
Reese is now. Well, no, she's moving.
No, she's moving.
Nope, she's just moving. I should probably check if Nightbot is in here.
Get a bump on your head, Reese.
Nightbot. Nightbot. I did not set you up.
'Cause when you set me up and you set Nightbot, it doesn't stop.
There it goes. There it goes. Kitty! That's right. There's a kitty in Marconis.
Kitty. Oh, and she's stepping on the keyboard. Can't go to Twitch with Kitty on the keyboard.
Nope, because then you're going to talk to the chat room with the kitty on the keyboard.
Yep.
Time to tweet the deets. Twitch.tv/TurinThinkTank.
There we go.
Kaboom.
Yes, the cat says deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't like how now I can't pop out the chat.
You can't? What
No, it doesn't say pop out anymore.
Really?
When I click on the gear, did they change something?
It's under chat options. This is like hide chat and then pop out.
No.
That's
no,
weird.
It says timestamps and hide chat.
Well, here's the way you do it. Hang on a second. Here's how
Or can I? No, I can't right click anything with that.
So twitch.tv/TorinThinkTank/chat.
You need to get down, sweetie. I gotta do some work. Oh.
Here, I'll put this in the actual chat room so you can see it. Click that link.
Sorry, sweetie. Ah, let's see.
Did you see it? The link.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, click that. That'll pop it out.
Okay.
And you can
Sweet.
resize it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then just bookmark that on your browser. Because
Yeah,
you can just
I'm doing that now. Let's see. Bookmarks. Bookmark this page.
There you go.
Yay.
Hi, Lily.
Hello. Hello, Laylee.
We're doing your letter tonight, my dear.
Yup.
We are. And hello, Bim. Hello, Solomio. Oh, the clock is ticking. Hi,
Hello,
Natani.
Natani.
How are you? All right. Let me move this, and then this, and then this, and the thing. Okay, chat room. I did some volume adjustments. And you haven't complained that one of us is softer than the other, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So let's check and make sure the sounders are not like wacky, really loud. So here you go, chat.
This podcast is a part of the Signals.
Is that like crazy loud?
I actually
Should be
heard
crazy
all
loud.
of that.
You did?
Instead of it. Yeah, it didn't go down, so that was cool.
didn't do the
Hopefully it will
Skypey
stay
thing?
like that.
Yeah. The Skype squelch is what I call it. Sounds good? Awesome. Glad you can hear it okay. And then this is the music just to play it. We're not starting the show yet. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay.
Heard all of that one too.
Oh, good.
But
Excellent.
sometimes when the voice starts is when it goes out because it thinks that's a voice or something.
Yeah. Stupid Skype. Stupid Skype.
Stupid Skype.
Hi, Colin. Yeah, you caught the show. Good. Glad you did. I know we're back on our normal day, which has been kind of janky for the last couple of weeks, but
It's been a little weird, but
Yeah.
we're back in the swing.
So we'll be here this week. We'll be here next week. We will not be here the following week, and it's very likely we might miss one after that. If I lose my voice again, which you all know is a very, very likely thing to have happen.
You probably will.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Probably.
You know
will.
what? I've been to 2 conventions this year where I did not, and I worked at one of them where I talked all day long.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm working on it. So, but Yeah, Discord video chat is there. Unfortunately, it's what's called dynamic video. So it's only appearing when people are talking. So if one of us is talking, you don't see the other one. And so you wouldn't be able to see us both side by side like you do here, which is kind of a nice thing. I think, I mean, my camera gets pointed, my webcam gets pointed to the stream, to XSplit, but Mark Honan may get like bumped out for me every single time, so then like give me double me, so which is not really the most ideal thing. So
Jules will leave her voice in Anaheim, and I leave my heart in Anaheim because I miss everybody the whole rest of the year.
I leave my voice in Anaheim for a week, and then somebody finds it and they return it to me eventually. They try to, at least.
So there's that song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, by Tony Bennett.
Yes. 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 So I left my voice in the Anaheim Convention Center.
Gears are turning. Speaking of gears turning and things, parodies, like, ladies and gentlemen, it's crunch time. Every year at BlizzCon, Jules and I look at each other and we're like, crap, we don't have a parody for Christmas yet. So we need a holiday Christmassy thing. I have an idea. There was one that I was going to do last year, but it didn't work out because we did the other one, which is a lot more funny.
Yeah.
So I could fall back on that one, but that one is we could make it a duet, but it's mostly down in the bass register.
Mm-hmm.
It's about saying that someone's mean. You refer to him as a mister. So that's an idea that I've had for a while. But if you guys have any Christmas theme songs or anything that you want turned into a parody, please just send them to the email, DM them to us on Twitter. We will take any and all suggestions.
Yeah, and you can, I am open to, like, every year we've done it as a WoW parody, but I'm open to it being Blizzard related, like Overwatch, and it doesn't have to be WoW related as we've done in the past.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that might help a little bit.
We'll go the way of the BlizzCon goodie bag and just turn full Overwatch. We're gonna be Omnic Theme Tank in the new year, changing our name. Yeah.
That'd be a good April Fool's joke. Hi, we're Omnic Think Tank.
Everybody in the chat room right now, this is a secret in case this happens. So everybody in the chat room, I'm looking at you. If that happens, you shush. You're in on it. So shush.
That's very close to shush.
Shush.
Torbjorn Think Tank. Oh,
Torbjorn Think Tank.
I love it. You can do your dwarf voice there.
What's with all this standing around?
Our lips are sealed. Colin, I'm really glad that you enjoyed our guests. Wendy Dunford is someone that I literally, like, that was a bucket list item for me. Her brother Scott was a bucket list item a long time ago to get him on the show, and he came on the show and he was amazing.
We should get him back at some point. I know he's super, super busy, but
oh yeah, we could totally do that.
It would be great. I would love to talk to him on the show. I am going to find him at BlizzCon again and tell him how awesome his sister is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should have sent him a message, but he already knows how awesome his sister is. It's like, I would have just been like, I got to talk to your awesome sister. I just want you to know. But yeah, he will be, I've already secured him to come to the CTR party, so he will be there. And Brian Ibbett as well. I've secured them to come, as they always do. But I just like, hey guys, don't forget us. We want you to come to see us and hang out with everybody. Yeah, so it's gonna be. That was such an intense, awesome, fun show, because I just, as I thought about it afterwards, I'm like, I just loved it how she turned it on us. She took what we were saying, did the true psychologist thing, and just turned it. Like Holiday does that too. She'll take it and she'll just go run with it and turn it back on you, and you're like, oh, I just got psychoanalyzed on my own show, and I love it.
I didn't mind that one bit.
No,
because like she was like, "Well, that's really interesting. Why do you think that way?" I was like, "Well,
let me tell you.
Let me tell you something.
This is exactly what I'm talking about." Yeah, no, I love that.
This is why.
And I do wish we could have had Kelly and Shirley on longer, but it was great to speak to them as well, and of course having Holiday here. So
that was a whirlwind episode.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. That whole episode, we, and I think, this is obviously just for the pre-show, but what we didn't know is that they were under a time crunch. I had been talking to them for over 2 months to set this up, and we booked it back in like July for September because that was the first available we could get. And I, made sure I got them a calendar invite so it was on everybody's calendars and reminded everybody so nobody would forget. And then, make sure everybody's I've got everybody's Skypes and I've got them all set. You're going to be in the same room and all. There is a lot of stuff that goes into getting a guest or guests coordinated to do a show. It is a very time-consuming process because it's not just literally, hey, do you want to do a show? You've got to explain the show, explain what you're wanting to talk about, have discussions about that, make sure you can get everybody in the same place at the same time. Are they going to be in the same room? What kind of microphone are they using? What kind of camera are they using? And so
it's all those little details.
Yeah, unfortunately, they had Shirley had an appointment that ran long because she was treating a patient, and then she had a patient appointment right after that, and I didn't know that. So when they
we didn't know till right before.
Yeah, when they showed up, they're like, "Oh, we've got to be out by 7:00," and I was like, "Oh shit, we have 45 minutes to do this episode with 3 guests."
Let's go.
So I was definitely feeling the pressure, and when we got done with that episode, both of us just went breathed this huge sigh of relief and exhaustion because it was intense. And so it was just like, oh God. Well, thank you, Colin. I felt really pressured and I felt really frantic, and I hope that it wasn't showing. Like, my dad sent me a message later on and he's like, no, he didn't look like you were stressed out. And I'm like, I was really stressed out. Are you not? Like, I'm so glad that didn't show because I was really stressed out. With Wendy, it was awesome because it was just, this very comfortable and, casual, and she gets it. And
oh yeah, that was such a good show.
That was really, really good show, and she's happy to come back again, and so we'll definitely try and do that again when we get more topics that work for her. So anyway, I'm just like babbling on, and we should probably just do an episode. So chat room, let's check your readiness. How about that? Are you guys ready?
Are you ready
for a show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hi, Draven, Dresden. Hello. Hi, Tiber. Tiber, we get to see you in a couple weeks. Yay.
Yes.
We get to see Solomio. I'm excited, man. This is just great. I get to see Laylee in a few weeks. So
yes, we do. I can't wait.
You and your beautiful lanyard. I can't wait to see you wearing it. It's gonna be so cool.
I can't wait to keep wearing mine all the time too.
I can't wait to see Marcone wearing his. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little cold. Bim, we're gonna miss you like crazy. It's not gonna be the same without you there.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that you guys will be able to stay up for a bit with the live stream at the party so we can say hi. So
is Con Before the Storm doing a live stream?
I think they do,
of their
but
stuff?
I don't think they I think it's more about their live streaming the panels, not necessarily what's going on the floor, but I don't know that for certain.
So if you guys not in the Western time or not in the Pacific time zone want to stay up late, I do have that panel from 11 p.m. to midnight
that's like
Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's 2 to 3 a.m. So have fun with that.
Oh, this is my lanyard, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it. This is
the
my
Diva,
lanyard.
isn't it?
This is my Diva lanyard that I made for myself.
So you know
really
those
cool.
like backpack charms that they're selling now, the
Yeah.
Overwatch ones? I bought one at work yesterday, and I opened it and it was Diva. So if you want it, it's yours. I'll bring it with me.
I love Diva. I got my Diva hoodie. I got the blue one.
Uh-huh.
I
Ooh.
got the blue one.
I
Hey,
get my stuff in
Jayonce.
tomorrow, hopefully.
Yay! You know what? The HGC one is like, that is serious business. I may not even be able to bring that to BlizzCon because it might be too warm.
Yeah.
It's like thick, heavy. The Diva one is thinner, so it's not as like, it'd be a good like cool evening one. The other one is like, it's freaking freezing out and I'm wearing a sweatshirt inside because I'm cold. That one, the HGC one, is great though. Okay, we ready to check you guys? Mark Conan, are you ready? We should roll.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get the show on the road.
All right, chat room. It's good to see you guys. We're happy to be back on Thursday night. And let's do a show in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the podcast about the Blizzard gamer behind the keyboard.
It's episode 248 of Tauren Think Tank. It is Thursday, October 19th, 2017. It is 8:14 p.m. Central as we've been chatting it up with the chat room and not actually doing a show. Whoops. You know, we've been having a bit of a strange schedule for the last couple of weeks for the show, so you got to give us a little slack. It's okay, though. My name is Jules, host of the show. Good to see you guys. As always, my illustrious co-host with the most it's Mark Conan. I don't have rhymes today.
I am a hostess with a mostess.
No, you're not hostess, though. So that's why I was like,
oh.
That's why I went, and then my brain just went, all right, just introduce Mark Conan. Hi, Mark Conan.
Hey, Jules. Hey, everybody. We sometimes do have a late start because we get carried away. But what a better reason to join the show live. You know, you get to talk to us before the show starts, and we can goof around for a few minutes and, be casually late, just a little late to the start of the show. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to be back on Thursday night. It's been a little wonky with our scheduling, but what an awesome reason to have weird scheduling, to have such awesome guests on the show. I love it when we have people on that aren't on, like especially Wendy Dunford last show. That was an awesome show. I loved it.
We got some really amazing feedback from you guys through Discord, through Twitter, and I thank you so much for that. I have to say, having Wendy on the show has been kind of a bucket list item for me. Ever since I started listening to the morning stream, and I said, one of these days I'm gonna get her on, and to be able to fulfill that goal was like everything that I wanted and more, because she's incredible, number one, and number two, she created with us an incredible episode. Just we were talking about this earlier in the pre-show. It was like, I just love the fact that she took what we were saying and turned it back on us and brought that conversation into the psychological, like we were getting therapy about about and getting analyzed on that. And I thought that was incredible. I thought that was so good.
I did too. And it was such a great opportunity to bring someone on to because Jules and I know each other really well and to talk back and forth, and we kind of know where each other are coming from on a lot of things. We almost know what each other's going to say about stuff, but to bring in Wendy and just to have her be the dominant force in the conversation and really ask us questions and kind of just this huge shared experience. It was so cool to really do that. And I'm so happy that we were able to get her on, and it was weird recording in the middle of the day, but it was great. We had to do it for time zone reasons, but it was awesome. I'm so glad we got to do it.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It would. It was great. And Wendy, of course, will definitely be back. We will have her back again because I think she just brought so much to that episode in the show. But it did throw our schedule off a little bit. So we thank you guys for being patient, and just to make sure that we will, of course, be here this week. We're here next week as well, and then it's BlizzCon. So we're going to set you up right now with expectations of the fact that, yes, you will actually miss at least one episode and maybe two, because let's face it, we all know that Jules leaves her voice in Anaheim every year. So let's just prepare for it now. But we promise you that we will be, we will be back, and we will be also meeting people and gathering stories and all those things. And I'm like, I already have, a bunch of stories from stuff that's happened in the last couple weeks. So let's jump into you first, because I think it's been a busy couple weeks for you too.
It really has. I've been doing a lot. I've been prepping for BlizzCon. I'm going to Dallas this weekend to attend Rhett and Link's from Good Mythical Morning, their tour of mythicality. So we've got VIP tickets, so we get to meet and greet and get some autographs. It's gonna be great because Rhett is one of the few people that are taller than me, because he's like 6'6", or 6'4", something like that. So it'll be great to look up to somebody for a change. So It's great. And I went to a work meeting in Tulsa this week. We had some training. So I've been up and down and around and everywhere, and it's just crazy. And I know you've been really crazy too, but I've been on that ketogenic diet for over 3 weeks now, and I am 22 pounds down.
Damn,
so that's awesome. And I'm just trying to keep it up and keep, doing a little bit of working out too to help speed that right along. And I'm going to try my best not to destroy it so much when I get to Anaheim, because Red Robin, Umami Burger, all these places. Now I could just not eat the bun and I would be fine.
Yeah.
I would be fine.
Yeah.
But there's also like desserts and things, and there's Disney, and I gotta get the stuff. But what is life without a little bit of treats every once in a while? So that's when I'll do that. I'm just so jazzed. I can't wait. Every day is a day closer to BlizzCon, to seeing the people that I love and getting much hugs and handshakes and just meeting so many people. So it's the best. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the kickoff to my favorite season, the holiday Christmas season, especially with Halloween. I love Halloween time too. So
yes.
I'm really digging the the decorations, because I travel for work and I drive around the entire, like, a third of the state every day. And so I go to neighborhoods and see people's decorations. I saw a house where it had like a bunch of stuff in the yard that was like parts of a skeleton, like it was trying to crawl out of the ground.
Ooh.
And then there was another full-bodied skeleton hanging on the side of a house, like it's trying to climb in the window. And it was on the side of the house, so you could just kind of see it. And it was like, whoa. And it was really, really, really cool. And I can't wait to do that someday, to be able to really deck out the house and spooky stuff and hand out candy to the children. Gonna be great. Can't wait for that. Whoa. Oh, I also got my nephew a Torn Think Tank shirt for his birthday, and he loved it. So I got a couple of pictures with him.
That was the cutest picture you posted on Twitter of you and him standing next to each other with the Torn Think Tank shirts.
Yeah, he'd been bugging me because when I'd go to family dinners, I'd just be wearing it, and he knows. He's like, Uncle, can I have a Torn Think Tank shirt? It's like, yes. So he has, to my knowledge, he has the only of that size and that color in the world. So he has a very unique shirt.
Child
really
size
cool.
shirt.
Yeah. And of course, if you want a triple t-shirt, tornthinktank.com/store, that's where I get mine from. That's where Jules gets hers from.
That's right. I have mine.
Yeah.
He has his, and now you could have yours if you want it.
You can do, yes. And so yeah, that's been the main things. I'm just trucking along, trying to make sure I'm ready for BlizzCon.
Nice.
So yeah, what about you? I know you're a busy bee as ever. I know, with all the CTR party merch coming in, and
yeah,
whew.
Yeah. But actually, I've been breathing a whole lot easier now because the pressure has lifted quite a bit. Last weekend we had our annual packing sorting party for all the merchandise. So we take everything and we sort it by the person, and the ones that get shipped out to BlizzCon get sorted into bags, and they get sorted by name and all that. And then there's the people who don't come to BlizzCon, and we sort them out and we pack them up and ship them out. And this year in particular, it was a lot more complicated because we had a lot more stuff to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So it took us longer than it has in the past. But I have to give huge thanks to Eve, Alani, and Major Death, who drive in from Fargo, North Dakota, which is a 4-hour drive to come to Minneapolis. And they come every year to do this. And then Steph and Navarre who are local here in Minneapolis, friends of ours. And we go to Pat Crane's house and we work for like 3 hours, and then we went out to dinner and all that stuff. And I breathe so much easier when it's all done because it is so much stuff. We had 3 different kinds of shirts, coloring books. Everybody had a pin that we had to sort into. It was just like, it's crazy. So, and this is like, everything is moving parts. Everything is busy. Everything is kind of nutso. And on Saturday, which is when we did this, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my work done in the morning, which was like making sure all the reports got run and make sure everything worked properly so that I had everything ready for everybody. Got that done. I'm like, okay, I got to go to the gym. It's on my schedule. I'm going to go to the gym this morning, get that done. And they want, we were talking about getting together around 2. So I go to the gym, I come home, get some lunch. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to get ready. I'm going to pack up my car because I've got all this shit in my house right now and I'm going to take it to Pat's house, right? So I'm rushing. I get in the shower and I'm getting ready to I just get in the shower and I went to go pull the curtain forward because the curtain was a little gapped up towards the wall in the front. And my foot slipped.
Oh, no.
And I slipped so that I turned and fell backwards out of my shower.
Oh, man.
And I was freaking out trying to just grab. And there's nothing to grab. And there's like, just me. And it just literally just went, boom, and it fell backwards, landed on the floor. Man. Out, and then the curtain comes crashing down because it's a tension rod. It comes crashing down on top of me. And here I am laying on my bathroom floor, butt naked, and water is just everywhere. And I'm like, well, that's going to hurt.
Oh, man.
So I was very lucky. I could have hit my head on the toilet. Yeah. I didn't, because the toilet seat's right there. I didn't. I fell right back onto the floor, which was great. I was very, very lucky. But after the adrenaline wore off in about 30 minutes, everything hurt from about my neck, shoulders, chest, all of it. Because I caught myself as I fell backwards. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to go and work. And so I just like, Advil. Like, let's do this. So for about 2 or 3 days, I was just like, I walked around like an old woman. And I figured I got my pre-BlizzCon injury out of the way. Because last year...
Yeah.
I broke my toe a month before BlizzCon, and it was just healing up right when we got there. So the first couple days walking around was a little uncomfortable, and then it got better. But I was really lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really busy, really, really, really busy. But we're getting there. It's getting closer. It's really coming together, and I'm really excited about this party. This year in particular, because it's our 5-year anniversary and all these great things, but we have a couple little surprises that nobody knows about, so it's just gonna be
man, it's just if I don't know about it.
Yeah, you don't know about it yet because we've been working on it all this week. I'll tell you after the show. So yeah,
I won't tell nobody.
You won't tell nobody. So yeah, it's been good. I'm breathing a lot easier. Those couple of days that day that we did the show where I was just exhausted, I don't think I've been that tired in a long time. So It was like we were just running on empty, and all of that is like, I'm trying to make sure I fit in time to go to the gym every day, and like cook my meals and and dealing with the progress path, I guess I want to call it, the progress path of doing this program, which is, if you're just tuning in and you haven't heard this, I'm working with 2 trainers who are streamers as well, Heroes of Fitness, Nicole Duquesne and Tim Spencer, and they're actually here local in Minneapolis. And so what we are doing is a plan where I'm getting daily nutrition lessons and basically changing everything about the way that I'm eating, what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, and I'm doing workouts like every day except Sunday. So I kind of came into this and thinking, okay, well, it's going to be July that I start this, and November I'm going to BlizzCon. I think that there'll be some noticeable changes. And unfortunately, my body has decided that the scale is going to stay right where it wants to stay. And it's been very difficult to kind of resolve that, because when you put in all of this effort and all the change and all the things that I've done, you know, you kind of think about the reward is that the scale should go down, right? You should see that number go down. And what I've not understood is that, you know, what I've been doing is I've been building a tremendous amount of muscle. And so I have to take my measurements, like every, you know, neck, shoulders, arms, legs, waist, calf, thigh. I have to take them every week and report them in, because those numbers are changing.
Mm-hmm.
But the scale has not. And I've just been that, you know, trying to resolve that mental battle of the fact that, you know, that number should be going down. And,
well, you know, the difference in the measurements is what people notice. That's the you know, people you don't walk around with a scale all the time, you know.
No.
So only you know.
Yeah.
But you know, the other people will notice, because, like you said, the measurements are changing. You're building up more muscle, and that in turn will burn more fat.
Yeah. So, and especially what I've also learned is that it's the waist measurement that is a big deal. And so I have lost so far 2 inches off of my waist in the past 4 months, which equates to about 11 pounds. It's 5.5 pounds to every inch that you lose. And I was like, well, I didn't know that. And it kind of took me having this major meltdown, and talking to Nicole and being like, I'm a failure and I suck and I'm doing something wrong. And she's like, oh, honey, you don't know any of this, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't. And so it was just like, it's been a true journey. Like, it really has been a true journey of learning and relearning so much. And my assumption, though, when I go to BlizzCon is that most people are probably not going to notice too much of a difference. But I do, in terms of my stamina, my strength. And like, I was just noticing this today. My skin on my face is so much clearer and so much softer, and just because I'm eating a lot of processed food is like almost gone. So it's all like it's all regular whole food. And I was just like, my skin feels so nice, as I'm patting my face right now. And it's like, that's really cool. So yeah, so with all the stress and everything of going around with BlizzCon and then all of that too, I was hot mess number 1 for a couple of days, and then I just had to have a couple meltdowns, which apparently is normal too, because when you start addressing the reasons why you've been overeating for so long, it turns out you take a bunch of baggage and you dump it on the floor so you can see it. So you're like, oh, I can't ignore that anymore, can I? So, yeah. So, yeah, Meltdown City, party of 1, but but it's been good, and I only missed 1 day from the injuries from the fall, so that was good. I was able to get back to the gym on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that's my lengthy update on what's been going on, and just trying to work through it all. So with that, we're gonna work through a letter. Because I went on to our Discord server and said, hey, community, we need your help. We need some stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do.
And you guys delivered. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we jumped into that too?
Nothing that I can think of, no.
Okay, cool. Let me find this. There's the discussion topic. Actually, it's a think tank question. So we'll just use the think tank bumper. Let's do that.
torn in between options? Let Triple T help you sort it out.
And we have a letter, and it's from a listener, and we will read it now. It's a Tink Tank time. It's Tink Tank time. Greetings, Jules and Marconin. I mentioned this topic on Discord earlier today, and I thought I'd shoot you a longer version in a letter/email. 2 weeks ago was the terrible massacre at the Route 91 festival in Las Vegas, a place I called home for 7 years and still have many friends there. I felt so hopeless and helpless as I stared at my Facebook and Twitter feeds, waiting for all of my friends to check in that they were safe. I had an overwhelming need to do something, anything, to be there for my friends, my second family, and for all of the people at that festival. The same thing happened in the preceding weeks during the hurricanes in Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico, and it continues now with the fires in California and the aftermath of the Vegas attack. All I want, whenever terrible things like this happen, is to be able to do something more than just send some money to the Red Cross or the Vegas Victims Fund, especially when I can only donate so much due to budget. So here's my question/topic for the week. When terrible things happen far away, particularly in places where you used to live and you still have friends and family there, how do you deal with the helplessness that comes from not being able to do something even though you really want to? Everyone in the Triple T community was so helpful with my last letter. I hope this one creates the same response, especially since I know there are members in many of the affected areas that I mentioned. All my love and /moose, Katie, a.k.a. Lately.
Alrighty.
So, I mean, totally relevant and timely topic for certain.
Absolutely.
And I did put a couple of links in the notes as well for you that I had done for some research in there. So hopefully that'll help you some. So, I think it goes without saying, just to start, that most, if not all of us who are listening to this show have had similar feelings about all of these natural disasters and unnatural disasters, even if we didn't have people who were close to us, who lived there or were affected directly by it. But it's even worse when you are deeply concerned that someone you very much care about or love is in the direct, effect of whatever has happened. Like, there's a level of intensity that just goes to 11 on that. Yeah,
it really does. My aunt was in New York City on September 11th, and we didn't find out for a while. We figured she was okay because she was in another part of the city, but kind of close to Manhattan. So, and of course, we were worried for a few hours, but then she checked in that afternoon to make sure that we knew that she was okay. Yeah. But those few hours were a little hectic. Or a lot hectic.
Oh yeah, like you're frantic. You want to know, is that are they okay? Did that, what are the chances of that happening and them being there? And because it's a real threat. And what's been very difficult for all of us is that this has just been a constant barrage of really bad things happening to innocent people that we've had to process on our own, just to try to understand. Like, you automatically kind of just your brain has to come to terms with what it is. Why did this happen? And when you're talking about a natural disaster versus what, happened in Vegas, which is not a natural disaster. 100% preventable tragedy. That didn't have to happen. You can change, someone's behavior can be changed, but a hurricane comes through, you're powerless. You can't stop that.
You can only get out of the way.
Yeah, you are at the mercy of Mother Nature, if that's where you want to go with it. But at the same time, you try to resolve the fact that you're like, I don't understand. I don't understand how this could happen. And so let's talk a little bit about the Vegas tragedy first, because I think that is a different, it's a different resolution in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go to an event expecting to be safe, you know, you go someplace that's a celebratory event. You go there to have fun and laughter and, you know, music and celebration and fun, and expecting that everything is safe, that you are safe, that you are able to enjoy your time without mortal threat.
Yeah. You don't go in there thinking you might not come back out. Or it just doesn't occur to you.
Or that someone is going to attempt to take your life. And so that is, you know, so you aren't prepared. You aren't mentally prepared for any of that. You have no preparedness for that. And so now something like that happens. And the whole area is forever changed. You know, like where it happened, the people that lived there, the people that were in attendance, their lives have changed forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at the consequence of someone else. And for me, that's terribly hard to resolve, because, you know, that kind of thing is unnatural. It should not happen. It wasn't an accident. It was intentional.
No. Yeah, it was premeditated.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So when you think about, let me pull up the, sorry, I'm going to pull up the document that I pulled about, because there was a specific like, APA.org, which is the American Psychological Association, actually addressed this particular incident. And the very first thing that they say on there is, you may be struggling to understand how a shooting could occur and why such a terrible thing would happen. There may never be satisfactory answers to these questions. So think about that for a second. Like, you're going to try to find an answer that may never be there.
Yeah. I mean, and especially in that incident where he killed himself before we could even apprehend him, and it's hard enough to find a motive. Like, there's just no clear-cut reasons why.
Right.
You know, everybody wants to know why this happened. Like, what drove someone to do this? What reasons? Is there a motive? Is there political, religious affiliations? Like, what can it be that we can hammer down that this person did this thing so we can know how to stop it next time?
So we
like,
can
how
know
do
how
we
to stop it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how can we prevent this from happening? And you know, and sometimes, and a lot of times, we don't get those answers because those people don't want to be caught, and they go to those steps to make sure that they're never caught by another human being, that they will take their own life. And you know, sometimes there's not a good reason for evil, because that's what it was pure evil. Like, someone to go through the premeditated acts to analyze like the trajectory and the loss of the bullets from gravity, that distance, really plan it out, is just, it's evil. You know, it's not something we can just put in a box and say, this is why he did it, this is how we fix it. You can't fix evil. If there's evil in someone's heart, the only thing that can do, you know, you can't, you know, if someone's dead set on that, there's no law on the books that will stop someone from being evil. There's no precautions you can take from keep people being evil. If that's their intent, that's in their heart, that's it.
Yeah,
and that's not good, and that's not an answer. No one, I don't want that answer. I don't want that to be the reason why someone did it. I want to know, like, what, you know, is there anything we can do to prevent it? Is, you know, but you can't prevent evil.
No, and you know, but what we'll do, you know, we will look at the extensions of that. What are the, you know, okay, how did this person amass so many weapons? That is a process that we can control. How did he get those weapons to begin with? That's a process that we could control. And then there's questions and debates and a lot of passionate discussion that goes back and forth related to that, because we're looking for answers. We're looking for ways to save ourselves and stop that. And, you know, so, but so what happens is this terrible, horrifying tragedy happens, and you're dealing with all of the mental resolution of what that means, and the how that, you try to fathom what it would be like if you were there. And that's what Laylee is talking about. Like, I want to help, and I don't know how to help. And I saw this recently, and I'm going to repeat it again. It's like, if you've ever flown on an airplane, which I'm sure 95% of you who are listening to the show have flown on an airplane at least once. You've heard the spiel that the flight attendants will give you at the beginning of your flight about the air masks, the oxygen masks, and they will always tell you, secure your mask before assisting others.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for life. That goes for life as well. You need to secure your own mask before you can assist other people. You have to make sure that you are in good working order before you can give to other people. Now, yes, some of that is in tandem. Some of that handshakes each other and says, I feel better if I do something to help people. So, you'll see the outcries of, not outcries, but the blasts that come out to say donate blood, like go someplace and donate blood. You can do something to help someone else. It may not directly impact what happened on that site, but you've done something good for another person. And
it adds to the whole, yeah.
Right. And I think, for me specifically, and what I believe in is I believe in karma. I believe in energy. I believe in how we give our energy to other people, and it does not necessarily have to be a financial support to do so, right? So bringing a kindness to another person, or a donation of your time or your blood or something like that, something that you can give of yourself if you don't have the financial means, has a butterfly effect. It has a ripple effect. How many times have you heard stories of someone just having, like, they're in a crisis mode. They're depressed and having the worst possible day in their life. They're actually contemplating suicide at that point, and someone smiled in their direction and said hello, and it changed everything. That is just like, the kindness of others can change the world. And I believe this. And so, don't feel, number one, that if you don't, and I feel this way too, I don't have enough money to give to all the things I want to give to.
Yeah, same here.
I just don't. And so I affect my world in as positive a way as I can. I make sure that the people around me that rely upon me, that I work with, that I treat, as clients or as coworkers or that kind of thing, that I treat them with kindness and give them my time. And if I have to secure my own mask because I've got enough, I've given too much and I don't have the energy, then I do that. Then I pull back and I just take some time for me, and then I come right back for them, and I'm there for them.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just that feeling of like, we will never be able to do enough, right? I don't know, I'm talking a lot here about this.
Well, I mean, and you're right. There's only so much that we have to give, and it's not, it's not feasible for you to always be giving all of the time 150%, because if you do that, you won't have anything else left to give. And in times like this, I know Laylee said that she, in the chat room, she's in the chat room, she said she felt guilty she says, it made me feel guilty that I moved away last year when I could have been there for all my friends and all the strangers. I could have offered shelter at her apartment, and this is the kind of the what if thing that'll eat at you.
Yeah.
And there's, and that's a line of thinking that just doesn't, it doesn't do any good because, the what ifs aren't possible. You can't go back in time and say, okay, I want to stay live. You moved for a reason. Right. I don't know what the reason is, but you moved and you moved on in your life. And, I'm like you said, you believe in karma. I believe in prayer. Everybody, it's stereotypical. Oh, thoughts and prayers. No, really, like take some time, whatever you believe in, take some time, be reflective and offer up, your actual thoughts and prayers, not just say it. Take a few minutes, turn off your phone, turn off your computer, take some time, even if you don't really know what to, there's something out there, but I don't know what it is. Just say, hey, whatever that is that controls the universe, it can maybe do some stuff. We'd appreciate some help. It could be as simple as that. Yeah. Because the energy, that energy, the positive energy can go out into the universe and can affect some change. And it also brings people together. That's, if there's only good thing that comes from tragedy, only one good thing, it's the way that brings people together, because the world could sure use a bit of unity when we can get it. Mm-hmm. And it's not good that sometimes it takes 50 to 60 dead people on the Las Vegas Strip to make it happen. Right. These bad things, but that's when you can see the scales between good and bad, and you see it start to tip towards the bad. And you're like, no, we need to go back this way. And that it brings it to the forefront of your mind that, the world sucks, but we can affect that change and make it better. And you can focus on, whatever it is. We discussed in our training, one thing that I've noticed with a lot of my coworkers is when they interact with clients is they are very monotone. They're just in it. I mean, maybe they've been there too long and they've forgotten the reasons why they're there. Whenever I call a client, I'm very nice. I'm like, good morning, Mr. Smith. How are you today? My name is so-and-so, and they call it priming. It's like you prime the situation. It's like when you prime an engine, or you prime your lawnmower, it tends to start up quicker and work better because you're priming the engine with gas. You don't just do a cold start. So when you prime conversations with people, when you prime interactions with positivity and thoughtful and caring interaction, and you go that extra bit, you may not feel it inside. You may be having a really crap day. I have crap days. I have days where I'm tired. When I talk to people, I don't let that affect me because they don't care. Yeah. How it doesn't matter how much of a bad day I've had. I want to make their day better, because then when I see their joy in their eyes and their interactions and they're happy, that helps build me back up. I give them some and they give me back more, and that helps. When the water rises, all boats float. So that's the kind of thing you try to introduce, that positivity. And when we have things like this with such evil and such tragedy, it reminds us of the good. And I know there's that quote that always flies around Twitter that Mr. Rogers said. He said when bad things happen, his mom told him to look for the ones that are helping, look for the ones that are running to the danger to help. Because there is always, no matter what people think about human nature, yes, we are all flawed in many different ways, but there's still good in everybody, and that tends to come out in the face of adversity and tragedy. And like I said, if there's only one good thing that happens that comes from bad things, is that it lets the light shine even brighter, because you don't know how bright the light is until you see a shadow. Like, you can't tell the difference. Right. It takes a valley to know when you're on the mountaintop. Okay. If you were always on a mountaintop, you'd never know it. Mm-hmm. So it's in these moments of contrast in the world that we really can see and focus on the good things and focus on the ways we can help people. And I know you feel bad when you want to do more than you can do financially, than you can do, geographically, when you don't live close enough. But like I said, if nothing else, put that energy into wanting to make the world a better place. It may not affect that specific situation, like you said, like blood banks. I can't give blood in Arkansas and say I want it to go to whoever's got my blood type in Vegas. Doesn't work like that. But you can save another life in Tennessee or in Arkansas or somewhere else in the world. Like, that butterfly effect of helping someone can remind someone, oh yeah, that guy was nice to me. That sure was nice. I'll be nice to the next person. It's like when you go through when I go to like the drive-in and the person in front of me has paid for my meal. Mm-hmm. And then I feel that like, well, heck, I'm paying for theirs behind me. And you get this chain going. And it just, it reinforces it. It's like a stacking buff of just charity and helping people. And there's many different ways that you can help. Of course, you always throw money at the Red Cross or at, other charities more specific to the location. But if nothing else, just, like I said, pray to the universe or whoever you believe in to try and make the world, to add comfort, give the victims comfort, give the family members of those who lost their lives comfort, and remind them of the good things that their family members, that their friends they lost said. It's, you can't do everything. The weight of the world is not on your shoulders. The bad things in life are all our burdens to bear, and the best way we can do it is together. I mean, if nothing else, share your thoughts with others, and try and, figure out something else you might be able to do. You can focus it on a local place that's, in that line of work. Like you could say, well, heck, let's go volunteer for children who are struggling in school. Let's maybe be a private tutor, the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, there's all these different avenues that you can do to help. You can't focus your energy on this specific thing, but you can focus it in other ways in your community that in other times during the year, maybe they don't get any press, maybe they don't get the headlines, but they can still use the help. They're not vocal about it, but they can still use the help. And, it's like the conservation of matter, conservation of mass. You don't create mass or destroy mass. It just gets rearranged elsewhere in the universe. The atoms that created us came from the death of a star. The heavy elements in our bodies were forged in the heart of a dying star. And now they're us. And later on, they're going to be elsewhere in the universe. So we're all connected in one form or fashion. So if you can introduce some positivity into this part of the universe, it may not save people over there, but you are helping people here. And since it's all one universe, it's all together, you're still helping in some way. Absolutely. You can't help there, just help in one way or another. Just do, there's something you can do. You can't do everything. Someone can't do everything, but everybody can do something. And that is, I think, the focus of it there.
That, and I think we wind up making ourselves feel guilty for not being able to do something that directly affects said tragedy. Like there's just, and but what you forget, I think, a lot of times is like, okay, if you have friends in the area of where it happened, giving your time to talk to them, to have a conversation with them, to be there for them, to listen, to support, to, help them get through some of this trauma is helping, especially when it's like, if you're from the certain area that has a hurricane and you don't live there anymore, but you've got friends who do. Reach out to them, ask how they're doing, talk to them, let them vent to you, make sure they know that you're there for them. And that is helping. Like that is most definitely doing something positive to help it. But we always feel like we're having to do more. Oh, I didn't give $50 to this charity to help people. That's okay. There's nothing that says you have to do that. There's nothing that says that you have to do anything. But when you feel like you have to do something, then, and you can't, you don't have anybody, like if you don't have anybody in Puerto Rico, you don't know anybody in Puerto Rico. Okay, that's fine. Go someplace to help someone else. Because that's the thing. Like, we're going to go back to our normal routines after things settle down, after things change and get more normalized, because that's what life does. Life normalizes and goes back to a routine because that's what we do. And that routine, most typically for a lot of people, revolves around things getting really busy in your life and you don't have a lot of extra time to give to other things, right? And so when you've got that energy focused on it, then move it forward and move it towards something that you feel like you can move the needle on and make a difference. And that's like, hey, a hurricane occurred and I go to an animal shelter and I help take care of dogs. You did something You did something positive to help. But we have this impression in our heads, and that it's just like, if I don't do X, Y, or Z, then I didn't help. No. That's not how this works. You know, we have to feel like we've done something to just like right the scales, I guess. You know, because it helps us manage our own anxiety and grief on those things. And giving of your time and yourself can do that. And it doesn't have to come in the form of whatever the tragedy had been. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. You can, like I said, you can take that drive and that need to help, and just point it in any direction. I mean, call the local homeless shelter. Like, do you need people to help hand out food? Do you need just call somebody like, hey, I know this thing has happened and I want to do something. Is there anything I can do for you guys? You know, do you guys need hands? Do you need, you know, and in some of these places, I know around here, we had people that they were, especially with the hurricane in Texas, because we're so close, we had radio stations that were like, hey, non-perishable food items, diapers, all these other things. If you got any extras, we've got a semi here at the station. We're here for the next 3 days, you know, or the next day. Just bring it by anytime. Just come on down. Like, you could just go to your pantry, find some stuff. You know, your baby's got extra diapers. Like, I've got enough diapers. I'll grab one box of it, and you take it there. You just do something, you know, and it might eventually get there, or you might be able to help refill the local food bank if they're not doing something like that. You could just point it in any direction. You know, helping locally, while it doesn't help that specific thing, it helps somebody. You know, and you've helped somebody. Even you've got that drive. Just point it in any direction you can, even if it's local. If you know, and especially with it being local, that can definitely help somebody nearby. You know, and it's, you know, these national tragedies that help. Not everybody can go to Vegas and donate blood and help, but the people of Las Vegas really came together. They were there and they were able to rally and do some amazing things and some wonderful memorials to the people that were lost there. Jason Aldean, who was the country star who was there playing when it happened, he took a few, you know, he probably donated too, but he stopped the tour for 2 or 3 dates right after that, because he said that him and his crew needed time at home. So they took time off their busy tour schedule, making money, to go back home and spend time with their family. And that's what they did to kind of help. You know, it helped them and helped them recoup from what happened and the scope of it, but it also gave their family time with them, which is the most precious thing you can have with other people, is time. You know, more than, you know, money comes and goes, but time is finite. And so that's what they did. And then they went back on the road because they were here in Little Rock last week. You know, that was one of the first tour dates that he came back for. And I know that you know, it's on everybody's mind, but even, you know, he couldn't do everything, but he needed to do something. And for him, he needed time to recover and time with his family.
Exactly.
Because for some people, they don't have any more time with that person or their family because they're gone.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can point it somewhere local. You can do what, you know, you don't have to send tons of money to that specific thing. I know you want to help those people specifically, but there's so many people there that can help locally, that are helping locally. So you've got that drive to do something. You can do something that's, you know, it's like around the holidays, people are in a very giving mood. People, you know, there's always those secret Santa people that come by and just like drop $100 bills at, you know, families that are in need. You know, just anonymous people that just do that during the year. And, you know, and they just dole out all this money and are helping people. And I wish I could do that, but I don't have the means. So I try to be just positive and nice to people, especially because I work in retail. You get a lot of people that are not very happy. All you can do is just prime them and give them a good experience, and just be nice and honest and decent and with them. Even if it's that, you're helping add a little bit of positivity to the universe. You're shoving a little bit of good stuff that way, you know, and sometimes that's all you can do. And sometimes you may not feel like that's enough, but if it's all you got, it's all you got.
And with that, I think, you know, you have to close this out. I think, you know, just we wind up beating ourselves up for the things that we can't control, you know, and so for people who don't have the financial means to give hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars to donate to charities, that doesn't make you a lesser person because someone has more money than you. And, you know, I consider myself to be someone who tries to help other people as much as I can. But I can very rarely do that financially because it just never has been something that I have had available to me. I don't have a lot of money. I have enough to be able to function. And so what I give and what I've always given is my time and my energy. And I'll tell you something, people appreciate that more than you know. People really do appreciate people who give of themselves and give without question, you know? And it's like, and that's, when you say the word give, you know, there's this hierarchy that tends to come into play about, oh, this person's amazing and I'm not because they had $500 to donate to that charity and oh my gosh, thank you so much. Or even that person who donates that money to a streamer and, you know, says, hey, I want you to do your thing and I want to give you that money. And then there's this hierarchy that happens where people are like, I feel really bad because I can't afford to do that. And I feel guilty about that. There's no guilt that should happen with that ever.
No, never.
No,
because you can't, you know, people are different. They have different, you know, we don't all make the same amount of money. We can't all give the same amount of money, and that's okay. We're not supposed to be 100% all the same.
Right.
It'd be boring. But, you know, some people can't give money. Some people give time. You know, like you said, donate time to the local animal shelter. You know, go to the animal shelter and walk the dogs.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people will go do that, and that's one of the most rewarding things because you're helping that animal get some time, and you're giving them an experience that they otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have as much of. You know, you're donating time and love, and those things don't have a dollar amount.
No,
So,
you can't attach anything.
No, some people have
to it, but
yeah. Well, and it's like the WoW token. Some people have real money, but they don't have time to make gold. So they give their money to get gold. Other people have a ton of gold, but not much money, so they can't pay for their subscription. So they give gold and then they get money. You know, you have surpluses of a lot of things. It's different things for different people. You know, people that spend all their time working at an insurance firm or a lawyer that works long hours, he's got tons of money, but not time. That's why he gives so much money, because that's what he has to give. You can only give what you have to give. Exactly. If you have time, you can give time. If you have, you know, care for other people, you can give that caring to people that need it. You know, it doesn't, you know, everybody has something that they can give. It's just realizing that it's okay if they're not the same thing. In the end, it's all, you know, different ways, different things that you give, but it's still giving. And you shouldn't feel bad that you can't give $500 to the Las Vegas thing, or, you know, $1,000 to hurricane relief. You know, it's not all about the money. You know, it's just not.
It's not. And we as a community, as humans, as people, we beat ourselves up a lot about stuff that we just don't have a lot of control over. And that's something that I think is worth just at least acknowledging to yourself, to ask why do I feel so bad? Why do I feel like I'm not doing enough? Why do I feel like I'm not contributing? And you sometimes have to reframe it in your head. You have to reframe it and say, you know, I may not be able to do what everybody else seems to be doing, but I can do this, and this is okay. Like you have to say that it's okay, and you have to accept that, you know, and be okay with that in a way that feels like you've done something, you know. And I get it. Like I do the same damn thing. Damn thing where you just can't be everything to everybody, and you feel like you don't have enough to give. And it's like, I just wish that I could, well, okay. So either you change things around so you could, you know, If that's really important to you, if that's a life goal of yours, is to be able to say, I can financially contribute to this or this or this when it comes up, then you've got to change some things around in your life, and you have to make that commitment to do so. But you can also say, I'm changing my perspective on what my expectations of myself are, which is also a big thing to do. And after 9/11, I was donating blood at any time that I was eligible to do so. That's what I was doing. And then I went on a trip where I couldn't donate for like a year because of where I traveled to. Like they had the restrictions, the travel restrictions. And then it kind of fell off because I just couldn't continue with that. So it was like, but that I felt better. I felt good about the fact that I was doing this because I have a pretty rare blood type. And now, as I'm saying this, there's that little creeping voice in the back of my head that's like, you know, you have a really rare blood type. You should be putting yourself out there and making the time to donate blood more often, right? And so then you go, oh, man, guilt and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I completely walk that walk as I talk the talk, but it's something to aspire to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. Well, you know, and it's important, you know, you get stuck in this rut where like, oh, I can't donate this. I can't donate that. Man, I wish I could. Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. Switch it around like, oh, I can't do this. Can't do this. Like, well, you know, I can do that. I can work at the local animal shelter. I can work at the local like soup kitchen or whatever. I can give time. I can give, you know, donate groceries to a local food bank. You know, I can do this. You know, you only have, you know, we all have this circle of influence that we have in our lives. We can only influence anything inside this circle. Cool thing is all the circles of everybody in the world overlap, at least one way or another. We're all linked together in some form or fashion. And if we can influence enough in our own circle, it's like, you know, like we've been talking butterfly effect, we can make big change. And all little changes will lead to a big change. So if you can just work inside your circle of influence, you know, you can't expand it. You know, it's only as big as you have. But work to make things as good as you can in that circle. You know, like I said, focus locally if you have to, or do things where you can. Don't worry about the big picture, because you know, we can't change the entire world by ourselves. Yeah. We can only do what we can together, and do it, you know, where you can. Where, you know, it's okay.
I will disagree with you on the fact that what you said, which you can't expand your circle of influence. That's actually not true. Like you
can't. I did. Well, I mean, you can't. Well, I mean, you can't. I think what I was getting at is that you can't expand it, but when you want to help, you can't just like go worldwide immediately and do. I mean,
yeah. No,
I don't know.
Takes time. I mean, you have to build to that, but
yeah. Well, that's kind of what I meant. Like, you can't like in that moment like jump way outside. You know,
sure.
Like I can't fly to Africa and work at a hospital because I'm not a doctor. You know, that's what I mean is like you can't jump outside of it. You can only affect what you can affect. Sure. You know, and if you can't go, you know, financially go to Vegas and work and help or any of these things, well, then you can't. You could work towards, like you said, you can make those decisions in your life to where you can, if that's something you really want to do and work towards, then you can make your sacrifices where you need to and build your way to it. But you can't just like jump over it. That's more of what I was meaning.
Okay. Well, and especially for Laylee, do not discount the importance of being there for people who you care about.
Absolutely.
And even like weeks after, because when the initial impact of everything hits and everyone is dealing with the trauma, everybody flocks to come in and to help. But the problems and the aftermath stick around. They stay. There's fallout. There's post-traumatic stress that comes in. There's people who don't sleep and can't eat, and their life is really disruptive because of this. And it is those people who are there after the fallout, after the major crash of everything, who keep coming back and saying, "How you doing? Just want to make sure you're how talk to me and tell me how you are." The same thing goes for, let's say, you know, someone has a a death in their family that was tragic and unexpected, or something that was led up to for quite some time. And everybody flocks in to come help. We've talked about this before. But after you go back to your normal routine, those people who are directly affected are still adjusting theirs. And so that is, you know, when I was going through my divorce, that was one of the most important things that got me through some of the toughest times, because once that initial shock of everybody going, oh my God, what's happened? And, you know, are you okay? And we're here for you. And then, you know, time passes and I'm still going through some major stuff. And it's the people who are coming in and saying, I just want to see how you're doing. I haven't talked to you for a couple days and I want to make sure you're doing okay. That stuff matters more than you know.
Yeah.
And that costs you no monetary amount. It just takes your time. And so it cannot discount the importance of that, like big. It's important.
Yeah. You know, if they lose somebody in the family, you know, that first birthday that without them, that first Christmas, that first, you know, Mother's Day without their mom, that sucks. That's the part where, like, you know, of course their life will kind of go on to meet and kind of attain a little bit of normalcy after a death in the family or something like that. But it's those anniversaries of things that really just digs into them. So on those days, especially, you know, how you doing? You know, just kind of check in with them and, you know, make sure you're staying in contact. Because like you said, there's that flash mob when something bad happens, but then like the nightly news, it turns to something else and the spotlight goes away, but you're still there. Yeah. They're still there. And it's important to keep that, you know, make sure, you know, it's good to say, you know, oh yeah, I'm here if you need me. It's another thing to say, hey, I'm still here if you need me. How are you doing? And keep reminding them, because sometimes people get lost in their own heads. They'll forget that there are people there for them and they try to go it alone and it sucks.
I would say that happens to the majority of people who are trying to get through something. They're not actively going out and saying, please help me. They're just trying to get by. And it takes the effort of someone else to ask them how they're doing, to really just because I know, I mean, I was stiff upper lipping it for months and months and months and months. And, you know, gotta be strong, gotta push through this, even though I was going through mental hell. And all it would take was someone to send me a message to say, how are you? Tell me how things are going. And then everything would just break. Everything would just break apart. And I would, you know, usually be a sobbing mess and having to deal with all of those emotions that I was just like stiff upper lipping through. And so all of these people who are going through these really tough things and rebuilding their lives and moving on without people that they love, it is excruciatingly hard. And
go ahead.
No, I'm go ahead. That's fine.
One of my friends, trombone friends from college, he lives in California, and his house is gone. Like last week, he got to go back to the valley where his house was, and the whole neighborhood is just foundations. That's it, foundations and ash. And I want to be able to give tons of money to help him, but I can't. But there's only so much I can do, but to keep checking in, and seeing how he's doing. And it's a horrible loss, like to just up and leave with your wife and kids, and then you've got nothing else. That's it.
That's it. Your life
and it's a horrible thing to think about, just for everything to be gone. How do you help? There's only so many things you can do, but to make sure that you're there and letting, if they don't have to go through that journey alone.
Yes.
That's the most important thing, is to remind people that they don't have to go it alone, and that they've still got, keep poking people that are going through hard times, and just reminding them that you're there, that you want to listen, that you want to be there to not just say it, say these catchphrases that you see, hashtag, I'm here for you, do the legwork to make sure that they know you really are.
Yes, because action speaks so much more loudly than words, especially in those things. Anybody can give a platitude of, I'm here if you need me, anything you need. Well, that person most likely doesn't want to ask you for stuff because they feel bad. It's a hard thing. And so you give your time, and it makes all of the difference in the world. So if you have a situation where you are familiar with people who are going through some of that, some of the tragedies, and even if it's not those tragedies, it's their own personal stuff, they're going through some bad shit, then just, reach out and talk to them, and make sure you make it a habit. Put it in your calendar once a week if you have to. It's not trite to do that. It is if you need to remind yourself, I've got to call Mark Honan and see how he's doing, and it reminds you to go do it, and you do it, he doesn't need to know that you've got that reminder in that calendar, because what matters is that you did it.
Yep.
That's what matters.
Jules calls me on Tuesdays about 6:30 every Tuesday.
What's going on there? You don't
I wonder how.
Care. You don't care. You're just like, hey, hi. I'm so glad to hear from you.
Yeah.
So Laylee is in our chat room tonight. I hope that this discussion has helped you a little, and we hope that it's helped others who are listening to the show as well. We have asked our community for more topics, and so we've gotten a bunch of suggestions in our Discord, and the offer is open to all of you as well, knowing that we're going to be gone for a couple weeks, but we do have one more show coming up before BlizzCon, so we will talk about that, and we will probably do our traditional, getting ready for BlizzCon discussion like we always do. So
yeah, and just remember, everybody, and Laylee said that she had an overwhelming need to do something, anything. And that's true. You can do something. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. And that's okay. That's, I think, the main takeaway is that you can do something, even if it's not directly related. You can add to the world in some form or fashion, whether you give time, give money, give supplies, give love. You can do something, but you can't do everything.
Right.
And that's okay.
And that is okay. All right, so we were going to switch up gears and do some Tell Us One Thing. It's been a while. We haven't done one of these in a while, so let's do it.
Tell us.
We read your submissions because reading your mind would just be creepy.
And Mark Honan forgets after 248 episodes that there's a sounder before that.
I didn't know you were reaching for the sounder.
When you see the hand start to creep over this way, right?
I gotta watch for the creeping hand.
Watch for the creeping hand. So a little bit lighter, a little bit more, little fun on the topics for tonight. I came up with these this week, and this one was actually, I don't know where it came from. It just kind of popped into my head. What were some of the big fads when you were in school?
Oh man. Well, a lot of these, when I think what were fads in school, I think about like junior high school.
Right.
Because that's like when I'm paying attention to things like that. And, some of the big fads, and I've seen this in the list, some of the fads, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering. I mean, Magic and Pokemon are still around, but like Pokemon was the big thing. It came out, I think, when I was in 8th grade or freshman in 9th grade, because I remember my girlfriend, when I was a sophomore, she showed me the big like poster of the original 150 Pokemon. She's like, pick your favorite. And I was like, well, everybody knows what Pikachu is. What does he turn into? That looks cool. And it's kind of orange. So I liked it. So I'd pick that. And like, that was the big thing, was Pokemon cards. I remember there was that. I remember, gosh, what else? I think that was the big thing, was Pokemon cards and like card games.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that I remember from high school, is like I taught a bunch of people in band how to play Magic. And on days when we weren't rehearsing, we all had our decks of cards that we were playing and that kind of stuff. That was one of the ones that was a pretty big fad for a while. Also, well, I think that's when, like, I forgot what it's called. Wearing your pants too low. What's that called?
Yeah, I can't remember.
What's that called when the boys are supposed to wear their pants around? Your pants are too low. Sagging. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I had to dip back into old man territory. Yeah, sagging. That That was kind of hip. I know it still
pants.
kind of is. Yeah. Oh, Laylee said hacky sacks. That's another one.
Yeah.
I was awful at that. I think I did like 3 bounces, and that was it.
That was all you could do.
Like that's all I got. That's all I got, folks. I'm sorry. What about you? What were some pretty big fads when you were in school?
Okay, so I'll preface this by saying I grew up in New Jersey, and we had weird stuff as fads. Freaking weird stuff as fads. Like I saw what the people were listing, and I'm like, nobody has listed any of the stuff that people were into. Number 1 were these awful charm necklaces that were made of plastic. They were these big chain link plastic necklaces and had these huge charms that were probably the size of my palm with a hook on the end of them, and they were all kinds of like weird stuff. And you would hook on the charms to the charm necklaces, and they'd be like, they were huge. And Bim knows what I'm talking about. And nobody has ever seen these except for what I have described. And they were like, they were everywhere. And it was like plastic. And so like usually I had a yellow chain, and then it was all of these different charms, and and they were just this. It was like this big fad. The charms came from capsule dispensers. Yes, Bim, exactly.
Ah.
So you could get them from like the gumball machines and stuff like that. Is it a Jersey Shore thing? It was totally a Jersey Shore thing because they sold all that shit at the boardwalk. Like that's what they got but this was a big fad. Another fad that I never understood, and maybe it was just like my school only had this thing, is that kids thought it was so awesome to take like the pink erasers, the separate erasers, the little, parallelogram thing.
Yeah.
Rub it on the edge of their desk and save the eraser shavings in like a little jewelry, like a box. Right. I know Marcona's looking at me like I have 5 heads. I didn't do this, and I don't, but they would like, they'd do this and they'd save, and then they'd get different color erasers so that they could mix the colors. And then it was like this rubber and soft, and it was like a
texture thing.
Thank you.
Tactile.
Tactile thing. And that was the weirdest fad I had ever seen. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. Thank God it died, because I was just like, what is wrong with you people? Because I thought that was the coolest thing, and like all the girls were doing it. I'm not kidding. And the examiner was like, what? I know. This is why I thought this was a really good topic, because I have like all these jacked up things that happened at my school. The other slap bracelets were big.
I remember when those were big.
Bracelets. And the other thing that people would do is they would save scratch and sniff stickers and put them in the photo albums with the cellophane peel off front thing, and put them in, like, and save them and have sticker collections. That was the thing.
It's like stamp collecting. Yeah, I can understand that.
Bim says jelly bracelet. Jelly shoes. Jelly shoes were the
my
most
sister had
awful,
jelly shoes.
horrendous things, because they made your feet smell, number 1, and they cut the crap out of every part of your foot. You had sticker albums too? See? There were sticker albums. Okay.
I remember my first pair of LA lights. Those light-up shoes.
Oh, the light-up shoes. Yes.
I thought I was hot stuff on a silver platter.
Oh, my gosh.
Walking around school with my light-up shoes.
I never had light-up shoes. You were cooler than me.
Yeah. Even when I got done with those shoes and they were like all falling apart, I like ripped out the little light sensor with the battery on it, and I would shake it and it would light up.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So the sticker albums were a big thing, and then you trade stickers with people. That was the thing, and that was probably the end of any collecting that I ever did. Like I just, my collector mindset ended at my sticker albums, and that was it. So, so we asked you guys what you had as your fads at school, and Nymeria said Pokemon cards. Yep, I was agreed with you, so much so that they were banned from my school, and I thought it was because they were actually criminal. I was in kindergarten at the time, and a very rule-following child.
Now I feel old.
Oh my god. Yeah, Nymeria is a baby.
Yeah, baby.
It's a baby.
GDS MGL says Pogs, and that was one I was going to say as well. But
Pogs.
yeah, Pogs were a big thing for a while. All those also those like spinny top things. It's like little metal spinny tops. Now that's like Bakugan is kind of similar.
Okay.
If it's kind of similar, like little spinny discs that you spin the top and it's got like different. I remember having a big set of Power Ranger ones, with different Rangers on the stickers. They're all the same little metal top.
Okay.
Just spin them.
No, I don't know what those are, but I know what Pogs are. But Pogs were never a thing by me ever, unless it was like.
I had like 4 of them, and then I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it. Unsettled says hammer pants or whatever it was called, and yes, I wore them. Not my best wardrobe moment.
Parachute pants.
Parachute pants. Yes.
Unsettled was too legit to quit.
Hammer pants. Those were the best.
Mm-hmm. Eli_CTR says Beatlemania.
That was a fad for him, for sure. Endymion says marbles, Tommies and cat's eyes and speckleds. Boys and girls played them of all ages, and they never got banned. Best fad ever. I realize this may be showing my age. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but my uncle had a marble collection, and I wound up getting that from him, and it was just like that was the best. I loved marbles when I was a kid because there was just like neat stuff.
Yeah, all the different colors and everything. Yeah, I had a few marbles, although I lost them at some point. Lost my marbles. Get it? And the stream goes quiet. Yay. Yay. Okay. Torek says Tamagotchi, Pokemon cards, and MySpace.
Oh gosh, MySpace. That was never a fad by me, that's for sure.
I had one, and if I still used it today, Jules, you would be in my top 8.
Yay!
Yay!
I never had a MySpace page. I think it was
still floating around somewhere. I think mine is.
Crushinator says Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it Yu-Gi-Oh? Right?
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay, mm-hmm. And Crazy Bones were the hotness through my early school years.
Broken Bones says Garbage Pail Kids. Those things were gross and awesome.
I had those. I had a lot of those. They were terrible. I don't understand why that was so cool, but they were disgusting. Like, they were really
I think
bad.
That's why.
Oh, they were so bad.
Yeah, it was just that gross out thing. Like, oh, it's so gross. It's awesome.
What's grosser than
it was
gross?
Different. Yeah, it's so gross. It's totally tubular.
Totally tubular. You gonna read? Oh, I have to read the next one.
Yep.
Bim said, I'm like, space out. Bim says, IOU sweatshirts and Guess jeans and spiral perms. Oh my gosh, Guess jeans.
Oh yeah, yes. Guess jeans. I remember those.
Yes.
2020 site says Z Caravici shirts with the sleeves rolled and LA Gear sneakers.
Oh, Z Cavarici jeans, the pants. Those were the worst because I had a body type that did not fit them. And because they were that like tight at the waist and ballooned out at the legs.
Oh yeah.
And they're pleated fronts, and they did not make them in my body by size. And I wanted them so bad. I wanted those because they were popular when I was in high school. And I was so devastated because my butt was too big to fit into those because I wasn't like the tiny little girl. So Z Cavaricci's had like trauma written all over them.
I remember Jinko jeans in high school. Those really, 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 really big, baggy. They look like if bell bottoms exploded because it's like I called them Liberty bell bottoms because they were huge. Yeah. Like it was like a dress.
The tab, like the handle on the side of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they had that, but they were huge. And chain wallets. I remember all that was the
chain wallets. Yes.
Yeah. Chain wallet.
God,
there was a guy when I worked at the mall in college that would play DDR wearing those Jinko jeans with a chain wallet, and he had extra chains on it and all that stuff. I still have a pair of those jeans as well, which I haven't worn in years. Yeah, strappy. Yeah, Bim just said in the chat room those strappy raver pants. I have a pair of those still somewhere in the closet. I'll bring them to BlizzCon. No, I won't.
I'm gonna jump down to Patty, PK Geek Dad, hypercolor shirts, and tight rolled jeans. Hypercolor shirts were the bomb. I had 2 of them.
What are hypercolor shirts? I may know what these are and not know their name.
They were the ones that changed color with where you were, like when you wore them, and the heat changed their color.
Oh, so it was like a mood ring you wore.
Yeah, and so hypercolor shirts were the best, and I had 2 of them, and I loved them. But as you wore it, it would be in different spots as it was touching your body and getting and changing color. It was so
that is cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so question two. Thank you guys for sending these in. What's the best thing that happened to you in the last 30 days?
Last 30 days. I guess last 30 days, I would say, for those of you in the chat room, the gigantic message I just put, that's what Reese's been typing on the keyboard the entire show. So those of you in the chat room see this giant wall of miscellaneous text. That's the cat. She just hit enter by herself.
I don't see a wall of miscellaneous text in the chat room.
Oh, you don't in the chat room?
No.
Never mind. Okay, maybe it was too long. Anyway, best thing in the last 30 days, other than my cat typing in the chat room, was me starting the ketogenic diet. Like doing this because I honestly feel a lot better. I have lost weight. And I actually feel really good. I feel better than I have in a while. I feel less sluggish. I don't feel awful after I eat, and it makes me feel a lot better. I'm in a better mood.
Good.
So that's probably the best thing in the last 30 days for me. What about you?
I think the best thing that happened in the last 30 days is getting packages mailed to people who are getting their gear for the CTR party.
Yeah.
Because they're getting their loot now and they're so excited, and it's a culmination of 8 months worth of work.
Yeah, you're just finally seeing the payoff.
Yes, so that's probably the best thing that's happened. Like you can see that it's paying itself off now, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Let's see here, and Namiria941 says, "I got to take my dog on her first ever hike. She's almost 10 through Rattlesnake Ridge outside of Seattle. She loves splashing in the lake and racing to the top."
Oh, that's so cute.
That's cool.
That's awesome. GDS MTL just posted a picture. So since pictures don't really work well on podcasts, I can say he had a new baby girl in the last 30 days. Congratulations.
That is awesome.
That one got
That's awesome. Eli_CTR says, "My own birthday, number 61.
Happy birthday, Eli.
Happy birthday, Eli. It's awesome.
Happy birthday. And Dimian says, "Apart from all the usual gushy mushy stuff about my husband and nature and life, I would say that as a nervous flyer, the best thing that happened to me in the last month was a flight without feeling anxious. This was all due to a cabin steward who really looked like he enjoyed his job and would not want to be anywhere else. He was jovial, respectful, and accommodating for everyone. His attitude helped tremendously despite some cabin crew be-seated turbulence that lasted about 20 minutes. That fellow was a champion, and I finally got to enjoy a flight. /moo to him, too."
That's awesome. That's really cool. That really does make a lot of difference when you're flying. It really does. I like it when they joke during the make those cheesy dad jokes during the instruction before you fly.
I know.
Yeah. Torek says, "After almost 2 years as a contract employee, I was finally offered a full-time position with the company I've been working for. Congratulations, Torek. That's awesome.
That's very
That
huge.
is so good. Awesome."
That's awesome. Crashinator says, "I got married 2 weeks ago, so that was pretty great."
I would say so.
Congratulations.
Congrats to you too. All awesome. Broken Bones says, "Getting tickets to take the entire family to the Hampton Roads Comic-Con that happens on October 21st. That's in 2 days.
That's
Saturday. Awesome.
That's
have a great weekend, Broken Bones. Have a great time. It's so cool.
2020 Site said, "I went to a Rockies game with my mother and sister and had a blast last month." That's
great. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's so cool. At Queen of the North says, I had my first wedding anniversary. Much love to my beautiful wife.
Aw.
Happy anniversary, you two.
Happy anniversary. PK Geek Dad says, I got my first new car in almost a decade.
Oh, that's awesome. And finally, at JJ Gray said, I had a heart attack and survived it. That's the good part.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's
Woo,
awesome.
Goodness.
Wow. I hope you're okay, though.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
Like, yikes.
Yeah. But I'm glad you survived to answer this. So
yes,
thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad you made it through, because those are awful.
I know. Oh, I hope everything's okay. So that is Tell Us One Thing. We will be back with another one for next week, so you guys can enjoy that part as well. And if you want to contribute to Tell Us One Thing, you got to jump on our Twitter, which is at Torrent Think Tank, or our Discord, which is the link to that is tinyurl.com/TTTchat2, and that gets you right into our Discord server. We have a separate channel for Tell Us One Thing questions that we post in there, and you can post your answers. And that's pretty cool.
Very easy.
It's super easy. So just do that too. And it's also super easy for you to submit and call out your /moves. So we're going to do that one just like this. We have one /move to read today. And Marconin, please read it.
Absolutely. This one comes to us from Endymion. /move to the fellow on my trip to work last week, who was so engrossed in his commute entertainment, apparently a comedy show, that he kept laughing out loud and then would realize and try to keep quiet, but then got engrossed again and would laugh again. Honestly, it was such a delight to hear pure laughter that the hour on hump day, I wanted to tell him not to worry so much about being self-conscious about it, but figured it might make him more so. It lightened the mood of the whole carriage. I never did get to figure out what he was watching. That's very cool.
That is super cool. That's really, really neat. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
And you guys can send your /moves to the show through Discord. Again, tinyurl.com/TTTchat2. You can send them to Twitter at Torrent Think Tank on Twitter, or our email, which is questions@torrentthinktank.com.
I've got one as well.
Do it.
/move to my good friend Rayanne. Last weekend, or I guess almost 2 weekends ago, I was up there for the weekend, and while I was there, her dad had a heart attack and drove himself to the hospital.
Wow.
And so we ended up spending a couple hours in the hospital there as he was getting stents put in, because he had 4 blockages. And he's been in the hospital. I need to talk to her again, but he was in the hospital for about a week because they had to do some more work. So definitely a /move to one of my longest and best friends, her, and hope that things are better. I'm going to text her after the show to see how he's doing. Good. So if y'all can send some love her way, I know it would definitely be appreciated.
Definitely. And we have a late breaking /move from the chat room from Draven Dresden, who says /move to Critical Role for helping me get through some rough times in the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep.
And that, Marconin, is a show.
I think it would qualify as such. Yes, I would have to agree.
I think you're right. We made a show. We made it on a normal night, which seems so weird now.
It is weird. Wow, we're back to Thursday? When did this happen?
This is a long show, too, but we need to catch up on some stuff. So,
yeah, we did.
Yeah, so let's see. What's happening within the next 7 days that you would like people to know about?
Oh, man. More mount farming on Argus every day. I check to see what rares are up and which ones I can get mounts from and try and kill them on a couple of alts. Really nothing huge going on. I'm going to go see Rhett and Link on Saturday. I'm so jazzed. I can't wait. And I'll be sure to tweet out a picture if I can get one with me with the guys.
That's great.
They're one of my favorite YouTube channels. And yeah. I saw Epic Rap Battles of History live, but they didn't do a meet and greet, but I get to do a meet and greet at this one. So that's the big thing over the next week. Also just doing some last minute preps for BlizzCon. It's going to be hectic, but I can't wait to be there. I fly in on Halloween, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. I can't wait. I love seeing everybody out there. And if, as a little, we'll talk about it next week, but if you're there, if you just come to Calm Before the Storm, we're going to be there. We'll talk about that next week. But if you're there, please come say hi. Nothing makes us more sad than coming home from California and people like, well, I saw you at the thing, but I didn't want to bother you. Please bother us. We would rather you bother us and say hi. Please bother us.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless we're in the bathroom, don't bother us then. But yeah, then just bother us afterwards.
You can wait outside the stall. That's fine.
Yeah, not outside the stall. I just
wait outside the door. That's fine.
We just see your shoes from underneath the stall, just waiting. That's crazy. You can wait outside. Just wait for us to wash our hands first, okay? Let me wash my hands first.
Don't be a bathroom creeper. I think we're in agreement on that one.
Yeah. No hashtag no bathroom creeper. But yeah, that's about it for me. What about you, Jules? What have you got going on the next week?
It's going to be, I think, relatively quiet on the podcast front. We did do an episode of Slaying Demons that recorded and should be out. It's on YouTube right now. It's on Jocelyn's YouTube. This episode is pretty cool.
I need to listen to it.
Yeah. We decided to do an episode about supernatural stories. And I told 3 stories of things that I have never spoken about on any podcast or anything before, because frankly, they're weird. And weird things that happened to me so if you like the supernatural and you want to hear about stuff that happens to me that you've never heard before on any other show, go out to Slaying Demons on YouTube and you can listen to the show, and it'll be on the podcast format pretty soon, I think. So yeah, there's that. Getting ready with all the stuff for the CTR party. We still got a couple little details to take care of, but we're getting there. And I'm stoked. I'm finishing up my last BlizzCon lanyard for a customer. And then, my last one. It should be done this weekend. And,
awesome.
Yes. So it's great. I'm just, life has been okay. I'm really looking forward to having a nice quiet weekend where I can just relax and get stuff done. So anyway, and with that, we're going to bring this show to a close, as we always do, just like this. Tauren Think Tank is a proud member of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Find out more about the other great shows in the network by going to signalsmedia.com.
Portions of the music and sound effects heard on this show can be found at incomputech.com and freesound.org. You can find us outside of the show on our website, taurenThinkTank.com, of course, which has all of our podcasts and information on how to get in touch with us, too. You know you want to be cool like my nephew with a cool, sweet-looking Tauren Think Tank shirt, right? Of course you do. You can find that at taurenThinkTank.com/store, along with sweatshirts, mugs, phone cases, notebooks, and laptop cases, and a whole lot more.
It's pretty cool. And we say thank you to all who support our show via Patreon. If you would like to help out Triple T like so many others do, you can do so at patreon.com/TaurenThinkTank, and we are forever grateful for that.
Yes, we are.
You can also meet other members of the Triple T community on our Discord server. The quick way to get there is tinyurl.com/TTTchat2.
Yes, it is. And you can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TaurenThinkTank. You can find us on Twitter for the show at TaurenThinkTank. You can find Jules at JulesRPG. And you can find me at Mark Conan Wow.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat room, for being with us tonight and hanging out every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. You can find the video stream and be there with the live chat room, and they are an incredible group of people at twitch.tv/TaurenThinkTank. We love seeing you here with us, though, however you can and however you can listen. Mark Conan.
Jules.
It's good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you, too.
It's good to be seen. We'll be back next week. Definitely send in your topic suggestions if you would like. We're going to hit the Discord and get your suggestions. So
so send them on in, and your holiday-themed parodies, too, if
yes,
you got ideas.
holiday
send
song
them our
parodies.
way.
We need those,
please. Need ideas.
All right, we'll be back next week. For myself, for Mark Conan, for the entire chat room. Until next time. /moo, everybody.
/moo.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
Really?
Yeah, really.
I don't know if you heard towards the end of the show, all of a sudden Spike started barfing in the other room, and I'm like...
Started barfing?
Puking.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah, Reese's been laying on my desk the entire show. She's been typing it out, and it's like 12 lines text that she hit enter on, and that's why I was like, well, chat room, if you see that wall of text, I guess maybe it's too long for Twitch to allow through, maybe.
Yeah, it didn't.
Maybe you thought it was
there.
spam.
It didn't make it there.
Oh, well. Funny. She typed too much. But, yeah. Oh. Tired.
Secure your own mask first, yes. Oh, Natani, I'm so sorry about your dad.
Goodness, yeah.
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, me too. I have 3 cats. I have 2 indoor cats and 1 outdoor cat. And I have a dog as well, who's about the size of my cats.
Tree kitties. I have 2. I have
my sweet black cat right here on my desk. She's black, but has like a white tuft under her, like right on her chest, and then a little bit with white on her belly.
And he's gonna barf again.
Yep. I may tweet out a picture of her because I took it. She's like laying with her head in my hand, and she's like typing on the keyboard. I took a couple pictures right in the middle of the show because she was just too darn cute.
She's just adorable being there right there. So
yep.
cute. Oh, that's awful.
It is so sweet.
Tweet the pictures.
Okay, I'm gonna tweet out. I'll tweet this one out.
So, secure your own mask first. Would
be
suggested show title.
Watch for the creeping hand.
Creeping hand. Chat room can't see it. It kind of goes over here. Marconin can see it on the other camera. I'll do secure your own mask first, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Get rid of that hairball. No bathroom creepers. Yeah, no kidding. It's a long show.
It was, yeah.
I've been streaming for 1 hour and 52 minutes already.
I'm glad I had a 5-hour energy because like I the whole day, after 2 12-hour days with all those meetings and everything, I was wiped out today. And when I got done with work, I was like, I may have to take a nap. But I couldn't because I had to run errands on the way home.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's the worst.
So I stopped and got a 5-hour energy and took it at like 6. So I had a good amount of energy. It's starting to wane now, but
yeah,
it's doing all right.
I shall remember.
I only have to work.
I'll have to remember the 5-hour energy starting at like 7 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock.
Instead of like 10 o'clock, yeah.
Oh,
hey, Laylee, don't worry. We love the serious topics. That's it's not all lighthearted and unicorns and kittens and rainbows.
Because if
this was just like a sugary, you're not healthy on just sugary fluff all the time. You've got to have your meat, potatoes, and vegetables. You got to have the stuff that you're made out of, the stuff that you're built with. And we're built on experiences, both good and bad. The bad experiences really do forge who we are and what we're about, how we respond to them. So it's important that we get those serious topics because that's what we are. We're about the people. So
it's how we affect change in the world. Yeah. It's how we affect change in the world is by having those topics brought to us and bringing them forward and speaking about them, because a lot of times it's just difficult and not everybody wants to hear about it. For those that do, and for those that it benefits greatly. So, that's why we are a niche show. We have our little niche and we do our thing. And so, I mean,
And if we're too positive for you, then you can by all means unfollow, like that picture you tweeted out again.
I told you. I saved that email. It's from 2015. And
that was
guy
like 2 months or 3 months after I joined.
Yeah, something like that. And yeah, I think that was one of Rem's fans.
Probably.
Oh,
Probably
well.
was.
So funny. Yeah.
You know, it's like a distillation process. You get rid of the impurities. People that are still listening now,
There.
you know, you're pure Mukuru. You have no impurities. You are triple T.
You've distilled.
You're distilled down to the essence of Mukuru. That almost sounds like an ad for a fragrance. Mukuru. By L'Oreal.
12,000 words is a little much for us to read on a show, so you might have to break that into multiples. Yeah, it's a little much, but you know, the topics themselves, as long as we can speak about them, or we can get an expert to help us, then we're gonna make an attempt to do it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's some things we have no expertise in. Some we can kind of think about and try and branch out and do more research, and then we serve it up to you guys for part of the discussion too. So,
Absolutely, from the local artist group, stories that are most personal and the most universal. Yeah, I mean, there is never a time where the show has not affected someone else from a letter that one person wrote. You know, I've heard it every BlizzCon that we've been to, where someone has said to me, this letter that so-and-so wrote changed my life, or it affected me greatly, or it changed my perspective. And so it's that ripple effect, right? If one person speaks up and says, this is what I'm dealing with, it integrates with so many others, because you feel like you're not alone. That's what it's all about. That's what this whole thing is all about, is to make sure that people know that they're not alone in this world, because it can be, you know, even I feel that way sometimes with some of the stuff that I deal with, where I'm just like, I feel like I'm the only person in the world that could be dealing with this right now. And it's not true. Like, it's dumb to think that way, but it's not, because everybody thinks that way. But you know, when my emotional brain and my logic brain go into separate corners, then you're like, I'm the only person in the world that feels this way. It's so freaking lonely. And then you're like, no, other people have been through this too. You're not alone. You're not alone feeling this way.
Well, and in that moment, you don't see it.
No.
Either that, or you don't want to ask for help, because, like, for me, I'm always the one helping other people, and I feel like I don't need help when I'm going through crap.
Yeah.
But I can't, you know, and I don't think, you know, I'm bad at taking my own advice. Because if somebody wrote into the show, if someone wrote into the show, I'd totally like, oh no, don't do that, do this, and then I don't do it myself.
I know. We're the worst at taking our own advice in those cases. So, but it's nice to have that reassurance. Of course it is. Absolutely it is, and that's why we do what we do. So, it's you know, it's nice to know that there are other people out there. You're connecting with them in a way, even though you're strangers, you have something to link you together. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. That's like anybody at BlizzCon. You can say, what do you play? Starts conversation.
It's easy. Oh gosh, I know. I hate it when I'm on my iPad and try to talk to people, because I goof the keys all up all the time. And so that's why I don't type on my iPad very often. I totally get it.
Yeah.
All right, loves.
My iPad was mostly for Hearthstone. That was about it.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. In YouTube.
Yes. So we're going to head out so I can get the show processing to post. And we'll be back next week. So again, show topics, song titles, stuff like that. Thanks for the show titles, Draven. And
yes.
We will talk to you guys next week.
Yes, we can. And thanks for writing again, Laylee. And we look forward to seeing you.
I can't wait to see you, give you a huge hug. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. We'll talk to you guys later. /boo, everybody.
/me, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.